Okay, so the next dish we're going to make is chocolate fondants. Mike, our chef de partie, is going to go through it and demonstrate how we make it here at the hotel. And we'll start with the first stage. So the first stage is to butter the ramekins. So we're just going to melt the butter. We have a mixture of butter and lard. All the measurements will be on the post. Well, all the measurements will be on the video. There's some of the equipment that you'll need, just a spatula, a whisk, and then obviously our mixer over there. You soften the butter. You don't want to melt the butter, you just want it to be soft. And now we're going to butter the ramekins in an upward motion. Once we're going to chill them down and then do it again, and then we're going to roll them in cocoa powder. This is going to make sure the fondants don't stick to the ramekin when we cook them. So we've chilled the ramekins down for 5 minutes, one layer of butter. We're adding the second layer of butter now. Again, upward motion with the butter, which helps it rise when we cook it. So then we add the cocoa powder and just turn it round. So it's completely covered. As you can see, we can tidy up the ramekins later, but the main thing is just to get them completely covered. You can do this with caster sugar if you don't have any cocoa powder at home, but that's what you're looking for. A complete coverage. Okay, so the next stage is to melt the chocolates. You can do this over a pan of boiling water, but you can do it in the microwave, and it's just as easier. Just keep an eye on it, that it doesn't burn, the chocolate doesn't burn. Mike's just going to melt this in the microwave. Do it in stages of 20-30 seconds at a time, check it, and then whisk it. So as you can see, we're just breaking it up and just mixing it together. We don't want to let it burn. So we'll just give it a good mix and then we pop it back in the microwave for a few more seconds. Okay, so chocolate's melted, and we're just going to let it cool down a little bit while we move on to the next stage. Okay, so the next stage we're going to mix our eggs, our 4 egg yolks and our 4 whole eggs with 200 grams of sugar. We're going to whisk this up, get it nice and fluffy, and until you can see a trial. So until you can see the eggs leaving a trial on top of the surface. So we're just going to put this on a high speed with a whisk attachment. You can do this by hand, but again it's easier if you've got a little KitchenAid or a mixer. So this is on full power, and we're really going to get some air into this mix. Okay, so when we've got the base, this is the consistency you're looking for. So as you can see, it's leaving a trial when you drop it down. But that's what you're looking for. So it's thick enough to sort of hold itself gently. But that's it right there. So the next stage, we're going to add the flour to our sugar and egg base. The flour's been sifted already. You don't have to sift the flour. You can if you like. I don't really do it, to be honest. A lot of recipes call for it, but I think it's a little bit of a myth. So you just want to get it in, and then you want to beat it into the mixture. Try not to knock all the air out. You want to try and just fold it in, beat it in. That's it. Get it mixed in, keep going. It should thicken up quite thick now, so this is the base of our fondant. The next stage, we're going to add a little bit to make the dish sort of give it a Welsh twist. We're going to add a Welsh whisky liqueur to our chocolate mix. 2 tablespoons is plenty. I'm going to mix it in. This is going to give it a very nice taste when it's cooked. There you go, that's plenty. We'll leave some for the chef for later. So the next stage, we're going to add the chocolate in 3 stages. So 1/3 in first, and then we're going to fold it into the cake batter that we've made. This is very important that you take time to do this, keeping air in the mixture, otherwise you'll end up with a flat fondant. You know, we want it to rise and to sort of come up like a souffle. And again, we'll add the next batch. And you've got to get right into the bottom as Mike's doing. And then we'll add the third. Scrape that off for me, Mike. So you can change this dish to suit your own palate. If you like orange, you can put some orange zest in there. We're going to add a little bit of hazelnuts to it at the end and a strawberry caramel garnish. But yeah, you can add lime zest, a little bit of coconut oil, anything, sort of to give it your own sort of your own twist. So keep folding it all under. So we're going to put the mixture, now that it's been folded into itself, into a jug, and we're going to share it between the 4 ramekins. This recipe that we're going to post is going to make at least 4, depending on what size you want them, but 4 decent size fondants. You can freeze them, when you put them in the ramekins, you can freeze them down for up to a few months, they'll be fine, and then you can bake them from frozen. Well, we're going to just bake them straight away, but they're great to freeze. So you freeze them in a raw state like this, and then you freeze them and cook them from frozen, but we're just going to cook them like this. Okay, so Mike's put them into the ramekins. You want to put them no more than 3/4 above the ramekin, otherwise they're just going to be very hard to get out of the ramekin when they're cooked. You can always serve them in the ramekin, but you know, as we're a hotel, we like to serve them out of the ramekin. It just looks much more impressive. And that's exactly what you're looking for. Next stage, we're going to cook them at 180 degrees for 10 to 12 minutes. At the top of the oven. So as you can see, the fondants have risen 1/3 above the ramekin. You don't want to open the door at all when it's cooking. You need to set a timer. If you open the door, it will affect the end result. But they're just about there. We have 1 minute to go. We're gonna let them rest for a couple of minutes before taking them out of the ramekin. Just let them cool down a little bit. Okay, so the last stage, Mike is just loosening the fondant with a knife. Take your time. Okay, so the ramekin is going to be very hot, so you can use an oven glove. You want to just flip it over onto something like this. Gently release it, and then you want to just slide it on. Okay, we're just adding a little garnish of homemade hazelnut fudge and candied strawberries, and then we've got our homemade chocolate ice cream. I'm just going to serve that on a base of chocolate and hazelnuts, and then just finish with some icing sugar, and there you go, we've got our chocolate fondant.